right, so welcome to another episode of the Bulldog Bark. I'm yours truly, the Guru. With me today, I got Michael D. Rosa, MD, the Dream Baby, and we got Butler's Fighting Crew, BFC. Kyle is at the U Indy, or no, I'm sorry, the IU Indy game, watching our one of our favorite teams, the Jags, fellow Indianapolis team. I don't know who they're taking on tonight. So they're taking on
They're taking on Gottlieb.
yeah,
Yep.
Gottlieb
Good
in Green Bay,
bet.
right? Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. So
Hide the
uh,
credit card, Kyle.
yeah, right. I'm like, go Jags. If you can't tell, I am extremely under the weather and my voice is pretty shot. So I will be doing a lot less talking in this episode and I will rely more on MD and BFC to handle it. But we are going to do a Boise State recap and a Providence preview. So as most of you know, Butler is coming off a 77-68 loss to Boise State at home. Let's be candid, it was a bad loss. It was their first game, kind of big game without Jalen Jackson, who has already been announced that he'll be out against Providence this Saturday. Definitely a little concerned about whether or not we'll see him again this year. But the Bulldogs do sit at 7-2 through non-conference. Honestly, I had us at 7-2. Only I had the Virginia game as a loss, and this is a win. So here we are. We're at 7-2. But Ajayi had 16-8. Actually, Drayton Jones has been playing better as of late at 12-5. Bizjack had 10 points. He went 0 for 5 from 3. Which was kind of an anomaly based on his season so far. Actually, another kind of anomaly. We got absolutely outclassed on the boards against Boise State, which has been a thing that we've actually been pretty good at. We got out rebounded 41-26. Just a lot of bad things. I mean, we shot 4 for 18 from 3 points, which we've been a pretty good 3-point shooting team. And they got to the foul line a lot. And we don't foul a lot. They got there 26 times, made 21 of them. So I won't even have to tell you that we went 10 for 17, Michael, from our free throw line. So, the usual. But let's quickly recap this Boise State game. Ended up being a Q2 loss in Hinkle. Then we'll dive into the Providence game this Saturday to kick off Big East play. But Michael, I'll pass it off to you first, man. Give me your thoughts on the Boise State loss last weekend.
For a guy who said he wasn't going to talk a lot, you powered through that intro. Credit to
It
you, Guru.
hurts. It hurts.
No, but I don't know. I mean, we did the show last week, and you and Kyle, like, we talked a little pre-show. You and Kyle, and then we got BFC's score. You guys were all super confident. And I came into that one like, I don't feel good about this one, guys. And you guys are like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, you have no clue. It's like the hairs on the back of my neck were going off, and fortunately, they were right. Yeah, the fact that you guys were so confident made me more nervous too. I'm like, oh fuck, we're losing this game, aren't we?
Hey, see, now you're gonna make me talk because now I feel like I need to interject. You're gonna
My
make me
bad.
talk. Hey, don't forget though that I think it was like 2 years ago or something. We had the same enthusiasm
Yep.
and we were correct. So I like to say we're 1-1, 1-1. And
I would
yeah,
prefer
you,
you
you were
guys
you
sweep on those.
you were definitely right in this one. I will. Okay. Bow to you. Yeah, absolutely. You
I
nailed it.
didn't pick. I mean, I picked Butler to win, so I wasn't fully right. I wasn't. I'm not going to take credit for it at
That's
all.
the homer. That's the homer in you. We know that.
It was. It
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
entirely
it was.
was.
It was.
But the thing with me was, I thought Boise came in with an excellent game plan. Like that. I mean, I said this on the little recap thing I did. I said it on the Providence show I did the other day, which actually I hope I retweeted. I didn't retweet that already. I got to get on that. But yeah, just I thought they came in with a great game plan. Buchanan did a very good job on Ajayi one-on-one, all things considered. Like he made him take a ton of jump shots, kept him away from the paint. It was the Ajayi only had 8 rebounds in the game. Is that the least he's had all season? Uh, he had eight against
It's
Wright
tied.
State.
Yeah, it's tied. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but like, yeah, they did very well on Ajayi, made him take jump shots, particularly later in the game. Like Ajayi was settling for a lot of jump shots, and then I think he and Finley both scored like late when the game was already in hand, but like their numbers were not like pretty in this one, and they were able to send 2 guys at Finley almost the entire game. We run Finley off so many ball screens, and they just sent 2 at him the entire time. Was like, look, if you can score for 2 guys, fair play. Otherwise, we're making someone else beat us, and they really executed that to perfection. Rice is a very good coach. Credit to them. I thought they came with a great game plan, and then offensively, they knew who to target, especially with like 10 minutes left in the half. That kind of built them their lead. Yeah, they played a very good game. They were able to control tempo. It was kind of like everything that I was worried like possibly could happen. They knew the game plan. I mean, they had a week to prepare for us, and I think they did their staff I think did a perfect job. I really think there isn't much more to it than that. My worry with this team going forward would be if teams can replicate that game plan and just send two guys at Finley, and then Big East's going to have more physical defenders who can probably guard a Jai one-on-one and prevent him from getting in the paint so easily that he's been able to do. Even in Virginia, he was like bull in a china shop. He was getting there easily. That said, I don't think the team we play next is one known for good game plans. So that's a good sign at least.
Yeah, no, and we'll get to the Providence stuff here in a little bit, but yeah, and I'll add one little comment to that, and like I said, Jalen Jackson being out, I definitely think so, allows them to throw more guys at Finley. I love Finley off the ball, so I'd like to keep it that way. But man, my voice is just so messed up. I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna stop talking. All right, BFC. What are your thoughts on the Boise State game, man?
Yeah, I thought that, like you said, losing having Jalen Jackson out for that game, I think was really detrimental for a couple different reasons. Um, Especially because although he wasn't finishing at a super high level in kind of in the early season when he was healthy, he basically gets wherever he wants. He's just so skilled with the ball and quick. He's able to penetrate and kind of get to the rim. That was something that I also think could have been countered if Efiosa had been in the fold throughout the beginning of the season. I think that he looked really good in this game. I think that he could have been a huge help had he had some more game reps and wasn't obviously still in kind of a kind of pitch count there. Um, just that kind of change of pace because while I love Stink's upside. I don't necessarily think that it was the best game for him and his current skill set. I think he'll continue to get better. But that kind of get out and transition disrupt against a good team with good coaching that is slowing the pace down. It just wasn't the right kind of plan of attack yet. Obviously, it's is what ninth game in college, so you can only ask so much of a kid. But yeah, I really think that had Jalen Jackson been healthy or had Efiosa kind of had that first, that was only his second game. Um, I think he could have made a huge impact. Just the ability to kind of get to the rim, penetrate. You can't really stop him from at least getting downhill at a minimum. Obviously, just like Jalen, the finishing will come, um, but you have to defend it. Even if it's not, if, even if he's not finishing at a high clip, you're not just going to let a guy, tear down the rim or get an open layup. You got to defend it, and that can keep a defense a little bit more honest. Um, but with that being said, those are two excuses while the team just got outplayed. I mean, Boise kind of controlled the pace. Other than we had the flash in the pan early in the second half to take the lead, but other than that kind of like 4 minute stretch, I felt like we were pretty sufficiently outplayed, which you don't want to see in your home court. But hopefully, it's a wake up call that as good as Finn and Ajayi are, you need other guys to step up. I mean, I think we had like 13 or 14 total points from the rest of the starting five, which just isn't going to get it done against good teams. And the Big East doesn't necessarily have as many good teams as usual, but they got a lot of teams that are as good or better than Boise State. So we kind of got to wake up a little bit.
I
And
feel like
another
the
thing, uh,
go
actually, Guru, you can't speak, so I'm actually going to
I
speak in
know, go
front of you.
for
I
it, man.
feel less bad.
Thank you.
One thing that I kind of wish we went to more in this game was that whenever we were setting ball screens for Finley, it was pretty much just Finley and Drayton or Finley and Traore, some of the bigs. I kind of wish they would try to get Ajayi in some short rolls, like just Finley. He sets screen for Finley, then he just rolls to like the free throw line. He can just get him the ball and give him a little bit more space. I wish there was a little more creativity. I don't. There hasn't been too much for me, in my opinion, to criticize Alex Barlow over. In this game, I kind of thought Boise just had answers for really whatever we tried defensively, and then late we were just trying to go one-on-one iso ball. I wish we did a little more to try to get those guys the ball in creative ways because the other guys just weren't. They didn't have it. Aside from Efiosa, who I think got to the lane a couple times to BFC's point.
Uh, I know we were talking offline after the game about this, but I agree because one of my favorite plays that Barlow runs is that kind of that back screen pop to the top of the key. I feel like it works every time. You worked with DJ Davis all the time. It worked. I can't remember if it was the South Carolina or the Virginia game. It worked. Didn't see it once. I was like, what? I mean, especially because they were, and you mentioned before the game that they run us off the three. you think maybe we'd run a few things for that. But I also say, hey, props to Boise State because they were a really bad 2-point shooting team and they hit their mid range. I mean, like maybe it's luck or not, but like they hit a lot of mid range games. Fielder hit every single mid range shot he took, like insane numbers. I was like, you got to be kidding me. This game, he's going to hit every single mid range shot. So, I mean, yes, they had plenty of like offensive rebounds, which was killer. And like, I remember there's a tip in on a free throw that they put in. Actually, the real killer is we went up 7. We had a 3-on-1 and turned it over. I think that was actually like the momentum changer because I think if you put it in there, Hinkle's going nuts. And I think you have all the momentum on your side. We failed like 3 times in a row to expand the lead, which was just killer. Then they ended up tying it up like 2 seconds later. Props to them for making their mid range. There's a lot of defensive flaws. I'll settle for mid range twos, but when they're hitting them, they're hitting them. And so they did, and like Michael said, they attacked certain players for sure. But yeah, I mean, again, it's one that you wish you had. It ends up being a Q2 loss for the Dogs. Hey, I don't care if they lost to a D2 school. It doesn't count in the metrics. So go Boise, baby. I've always been a big Mountain West fan. You guys know that.
Has been.
So huge Mountain West fan. Actually, not at all. Just Boise State. Come on, baby. Win the thing. All right. So again, we got to kind of put that in our back, rear view mirror. At the end of the day, if you look at any projections, Butler is still right around that tournament, berth. Like we've done enough so far. I think people forget other teams suck and do stupid things too, right? So Butler is still very much in the mix. We haven't shot ourselves in the foot, but this is the oddity of this year. We have Big East play before non-conference is done. We got Providence coming to town, and then we go to UConn. Before then, we get to play Northwestern at the Indy Classic, and then Juggernaut NJIT. Let's talk about this Providence game, boys. So Providence is 72nd on KenPom. We play them on Saturday at 2 p.m. Another same afternoon tip in Hinkle. Get to Hinkle. I'm always going to say that. Providence, for those of you who have not watched, obviously had a lot of hype coming to the season. Offensively, I feel like they've lived up to a lot of that. They're very good offensively. However, defensively, they are actually last in the Big East. They're 134th in defensive efficiency in the Big East. So this is nothing like the Boise State team where they prided themselves on defense. I know I'm talking a lot, Michael. I see Michael smiling, and I can't believe I'm getting through this whole thing. This is impressive. Yeah, it really should not be as much of a problem getting the ball in the bucket like it did versus Boise State. But Michael, I'll pass it off to you again. Big East opener, Bulldogs hosting the Friars this Saturday in Hinkle. What are your thoughts on the Providence game coming up here?
Yeah, I just wanted to laugh at Kim English. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't laughing at you, Guru.
Oh.
Yeah, I did a show with some Providence guys the other day. Shout out. Like some, older Providence fans. So it's like I'm, trying to really stay up button. So if those people somehow came over here and they're like, oh, this guy's on again, he's not gonna be buttoned up this time. 3, 2, 1. This Providence team fucking sucks. They're horrible defensively. Oh my God. They're so undisciplined on the defensive side of the ball. It's kind of ridiculous. If there is a game to get our shooters going, it's this one. Teams shoot nearly 38% from three against Providence, and they just over-rotate like crazy. If you watch the Colorado game, I unfortunately did. Oh my God, just the amount of defensive lapses this team had was absurd. Guys would get open on the perimeter, then 3 guys would run at them, and then it was just an easy dump off pass for a layup. The defense was really, really bad in that game. Barrington Hargis, who was a transfer, was not highly sought after, all things considered, from UC Riverside. 11 assists to 1 turnover. This is a game where they're going to score on us. Sellers, Vox, Edwards are all legit scorers. Those are guys who can just put the ball in the hole whenever they want to. But they just isolate. They're going to step aside and just ISO against whoever. And on the other end, their defense is just so undisciplined. We should find ways to take advantage of their defense. This game's going to be very, very up and down. Both these teams want to play at lightning pace, particularly Providence. They just want to get up and go and go and go. And they don't really run any true sets. They're just kind of flowing out there, just kind of vibing. They're just a vibes team. And the vibes aren't great. If you punch them in the mouth first, they're not going to respond in a good way. Like in the games they've played, like legitimate teams, Virginia Tech granted that game went to overtime, but they put up 107. Colorado put up 97. Wisconsin put up 103. Florida put up 90. These guys don't play a lick of defense. They're a bad defensive team. They don't turn you over. They don't foul. And they kind of try to funnel everything to Oswin, who is a legit very good shot blocker. Like I believe he's like fourth in the country in block rate. Like he blocks everything in there. But if Oswin's not blocking a shot, they're probably not stopping you. So Oswin will have his 7 or 8 blocks like Ugana Yenso did. Okay, score every other time. Last point. There is sometimes their matchup on a Ajayi, Jameer Jones. I actually like Jameer Jones. I think he's very good. But when it's not Jones, it's either going to be Ryan Mila, get him the ball, get Ajayi the ball every time and clear, or if it's Cole Hargrove. If Cole Hargrove is guarding Michael Ajayi, and whoever either A, if he's not getting the ball every single time, if Cole Hargrove is guarding, I'm being dead serious. Every single time Cole Hargrove is even like in the vicinity of him, either A, the point guard's got to get subbed out, or B, whoever did the offensive game plan has to be fired. That is barbecue chicken. All day. All day. Every single time Hargrove is on Ajayi, give him the ball.
Like it. And yeah, I mean, it's some of the things that I wrote down that you already touched on there. They're super vulnerable to the three. They're that you mentioned that stat, 38%. That's 327th in the country. They get lit up from three. This would be a great time for us to we don't shoot a ton of threes. And last game was like the first bad game we've had from three. I wouldn't mind seeing a little more. I like what you said about Ajayi, but I'd also love to see Finn start getting back to his mojo in this game. Same with Haywood. I think Haywood would be a big advantage in this one. So, yeah, no, this team does not play defense. This team can score. And like you said, pace, we saw in the SMU game. We cannot let that happen again. Need to get back on defense. That has been a problem, our transition defense. But BFC, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think that something that I've talked about in some of our other matchups is how we get a little bit exposed by the other team's best player. We've allowed a lot of guys to kind of cook. Um, I mean, we saw that with Boopy against SMU. We've even seen that in some of our wins. Providence takes that to a whole nother level. They essentially get cooked by whoever the best player is on the other team. I mean, Abdallah said at Virginia Tech had like 33. Xavier Lee, he's shooting like 12% in all other games, had 20. Um,
Nick
Is
Boyd.
that,
Nick
is that, a, is that,
Boyd,
a, is that
Nick, Nick,
$1 million per percent? Is that what it is?
yeah, he's making $1 million per percentage exactly. Nick Boyd at Wisconsin went off; he had 33. So I really think that this is going to be a good opportunity for Finley to get a little bit of confidence back. I mean, I can't remember the last time he didn't make a three in a game. He went 0 for 5. Um, so I think that there's going to be a lot of opportunities to get him going early. And I'm kind of like Michael said, quite frankly, I'm not worried about the offensive side of the ball at all. I think Haywood will play some pretty significant minutes in this one, more than usual, but they've kind of been doing that. They've kind of been platooning him a little bit based on matchup, which I like because he obviously does have a skill set that is hard to replicate. Shooting the ball at that clip is not common. But then at the same time, he has some drawbacks where other players can kind of fill in against maybe more physical matchups. This is one where I think he's going to have space, and him letting it fly, I think, is just going to create some opportunities for Ajayi, and then even Drayton, whose offensive game is really coming into its own. Um, After it kind of seemed like he was too passive to a fault on offense, kind of early season, I think he knows, your center needs to be a threat to score. Even if it's, he's not going to be a number one option. We run some plays to him, we'll run some lobs. But I think he knows he has to be a little bit of a force, and he's been doing that to his credit. I think he's looked really good in the last, kind of 3 or 4 outings, kind of going back to the Greenbrier. I am worried about defensively, especially with no Jalen. I mean, I think it's a massive opportunity for Stink to set up to really step up. I mean, we'll see who he's guarding, but yeah, they've got some guys that can light it up. I mean, Jason Edwards is one of the best pure scorers in the country, so that's going to be just a phenomenal matchup for us to kind of see where where that's coming from, where our defensive efforts are kind of going, which obviously has been a bit of a red flag the last couple of years. Um, I'm not worried. I'm not as worried about the offense. Even with the last game, I kind of felt like that was a little bit. You lose Jalen, and it's a big matchup. You got a starting, I know a freshman starting a point guard. You're not really sure about the rotations. I mean, Kim is going to give you opportunities to kind of try some things out, and I don't think he's really going to adapt as much as some other coaches would. Which is obviously the narrative that's coming from the Providence fans as well. They're saying the same thing on their side because our staff hasn't proven in the past that we're that adaptable, that we're kind of coming out, and if we get punched in the mouth that we're going to have a lot of different changes the next game. We've kind of stuck to our guns a little bit, to even to a fault at sometimes. So, I'm interested. I mean, I think a shootout in this game is a little bit dangerous to get into because, quite frankly, I do think that they've got, more in the, in their back pocket. They've got a couple more guys that can really, really fill it up. So I do worry about potentially getting into a shootout, but I like the matchup because I do really think that we have the coaching advantage. I mean, I think that's a problem on their side. I think they, all in all, probably have the edge talent wise. But I think that this game is going to come down to coaching because it's two fairly similar teams, and I think that's going to give us the edge.
One thing you said there, and I we talked about the sorry, voice. I do think Drayton Jones has been playing way better, which is huge. So good to see him develop. And honestly, if you get him the ball I mean, he's throwing it down. He had some emphatic dunks during that game, which got Hinkle on his feet, which we need some of that. I cannot wait for Fosa to put one down. He had that steal where he hit you, he tapped out of bounds, and I started standing because you knew there was about to be something crazy that was about to go down. It sucks that he
Jose
hit
is so thirsty. He's so thirsty for a dunk.
Thursday.
He's so thirsty for it.
There was a two. I think Kaiser also had a steal in that game where he stepped out of bounds
Mhm.
twice, where we had it like breakaways and we just couldn't quite tiptoe the sideline there. But yeah, back to Providence. I mean, yeah, like BFC said and like Michael said, I mean, their offense is no joke. Like they definitely can fill it up. They can also definitely let the other team fill it up. So let's hope that our offense, takes advantage of that and rebounds from the game against Boise. But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna stop talking because I really can't. But and actually, real quick, actually, now I say that I'm going to keep talking. The one thing that kind of sucks is that this is a Q3 game, and Providence is a dangerous Q3 game. That sucks. That's what the Big East has done to itself. So that sucks, but it is a Q3 game. So take care of business. Let's not get a Q3 loss. Um, Q3 loss in this one because actually Boise's up to Q2. So we don't have a Q3 loss. For those of you who follow along, we're 1-1 in Q1, 0-1 in Q2, and then 2-0 in Q3. Q4s, I guess people don't really care about, which makes sense. But so basically, you're looking at like Q1 through Q3. That kind of matter more. Wright State, keep going, baby. That's a Q3 win. That's what we like to see. Wright State, yes, sir. But anyway, boys, let's talk about our predictions for this Saturday in Hinkle Fieldhouse. Providence versus Butler. Big East opener for the Dogs and Providence Friars. Michael, you're first. And I keep saying I'm going to make a graphic. I'm going to. I'm going to. And it's going to be beautiful and it's going to have all the stats up till now. I promise you it's coming. It is coming, but I haven't made it yet. So I don't know who won last week. I don't know what the standings are now, but it is coming. Michael, what is your prediction for this week?
The more you delay the graphic, the better it probably is for my brand because the quicker I'm going to be exposed as a bad predictor for whatever that's worth.
You're the only winner last week, man, because you win by no. Yes, you win by default because you were the closest to saying we. Well, I don't know. I guess so.
Yeah, I don't think that's well. I don't even know how we're doing it. Is
You don't know
the
the
thing.
rules yet. I'll make them up as I go.
I think to BFC's point earlier, he little worried about it being a shootout just because they have so many offensive weapons. Agreed. It's also just going to be a shootout. Like I don't really see like Butler's not slowing the pace down. Like we tried to run with SMU, so like I don't see them really trying to slow it down here. Like I think they're just going to kind of control the pace, and we're just going to be like, yeah, okay, we'll do that, and you'll have some lazy attempts in transition. We'll score on those, and hopefully our guys get back on defense, so we can just play well enough there. I think this game's going to be just a complete barn burner. I'm going to go 92-87 Butler.
All
It's
right,
a lot of points.
BFC. That's a lot of points.
I like that. I think I mean I do think it's kind of unavoidable that it's going to be a shootout. I mean, look, we're not necessarily a defensive juggernaut. But I agree. I think I think we kind of have a comfortable lead. They're going to punch back, but I think like 91-84. I think they hit some free throws at the end, which is rare for us to extend it a bit.
I'm just gonna completely guess here, boys. Completely guess. This is not me looking at any source or anything like that. I'm going 87-81. Don't look at Kemba. I'm going 87-81. I feel like we get a nice little 6-point win in Hinkle. They did play an away game. I think it was Colorado. It was a true away game, correct?
Yeah.
Yep. So they played one, but that was like a month ago. They haven't played a true away game in a minute. I said the same thing about Boise. I'm going to say it now. I sound like Darth Vader. We're going to win 87-81. Here we go. All right. So we all got some dog victories. We didn't get Kyle's number. He's busy enjoying the Jags game. We'll figure out what it is, and we will post that.
Imagine being on the Bulldog Bark podcast and rooting for another team. I could
can't.
never do that.
I can't. The only time I was ever going to, you guys convinced me, and then actually we did lose that game. Never mind. It was SMU. So, I like my 90-70 prediction over Virginia. It was close enough. It was vibes. It was on vibes. It felt good. Honestly, you were so optimistic about Butler, or you were so confident Butler was going to lose that game, Michael, that it was like you took the same feelings that I had about Boise. Now imagine flipping it for the Virginia game. That was how I felt. I was like,
look,
oh yeah.
if we had to choose one to win, let's be real. We're taking
I'll take the Q1A all day long. Absolutely. In fact, that's like huge. We are one of 4 teams in the Big East to have a Q1 win. Yes, sir. And it's not just Q1, it's Q1A. Yes, sir. Here we go. Go Virginia. Who's whatever you call yourselves. Yeah. So again, everyone get to Hinkle this Saturday. I will be the guy that sounds like he is dying at 2 p.m. Against Providence, Big East opener. This is a big game because we play at UConn after that, which I love our dogs so much that might be the only time I predict against us. So so we got to get this win here. Got to get back on track. I kind of hate this Big East being in the middle of the non-conference thing. It just
weird. We're the first Big East game, and there's no there's no other Big East game today. Butler plays 2 Big East games before most Big East teams play their first conference game.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get back on track. Let's get this W. And as always, go Dogs.